don't fuck around and find. It's not get better, you cannot do better, and you will regret it. Oh yeah, you don't fuck around and find yourself, find yourself, find yourself. That might help. Trading it all in for you ain't done with yours.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And then also please subscribe to the channel and leave a like, comment, you know, all of that, honey. So you guys already know what we're going to be talking about, judging from the title of this video. Okay, basically why I stayed in a relationship, in a 3-year relationship that was abusive and toxic. Just so you know, this is like my second camera rolling, because I felt like I was all over the place and I didn't know where to direct this. And because I don't have any notes jotted down, I was just like, whoa, you know. But let me just get into it. So the reason why I stayed in a 3-year relationship that was abusive and toxic and literally everything that you can think of in terms of, you know, a bad relationship, like a relationship that was just bad and toxic in every way, is because I stayed there because I lost myself. I was lost, okay? I was lost, and I really didn't know what love was supposed to be like. Well, I mean, because every day it was a movie. Every single day there was something new and I would cry. I don't think I remember a day in that relationship I didn't cry or feel sad or feel neglected, and I just don't remember a day in that relationship. And I think the reason why I fell for that guy and the reason why I stayed so long is because I thought that was okay. I thought this was love. I thought this is no Mfundo, you are out of your mind. You are losing your mind. This guy is perfect. This guy is okay. You are the problem, you know. And part of the reason why I thought I was the problem is because maybe I had some daddy issues, some abandonment issues, you know. Not having the relationship with my dad had caused me to fall for the wrong people, had caused me to fall for the very same person that I thought I don't want anything to do with in my life. I fell for the same person that I hated so much, because at that time I won't say I hated my dad, but I just hated his actions and what he was doing. And so when I fell for that guy, I was literally falling for the same characteristics or personality or character traits that my dad had, and I was just falling right back into that trap that I didn't want to be in. Because in my head, you know how my mom would tell me, you know what, Mfundo, I love you, don't let anyone tell you anything else, I love you, you're my daughter, you know. And she was preparing me for those kind of things where a person would say I love you and I'll believe it, and she'd say don't believe it. Don't believe it unless it's genuine, you know that mother and daughter talk, you know, how she'll always just make me feel like I have to be extra cautious. Whoever I fall in love with or whoever I decide to date, I have to be extra cautious and make sure that person is genuinely in love with me, genuinely loves me for who I am, genuinely loves me, I mean genuinely, and doesn't even care about where I come from, who I am, or what I do, or what I have and what I don't have, you know. So she would like make me aware of those things, but I guess because I was just so vulnerable, you know, I was so naive, I was so young, and I thought, no man, this one really loves me. And I never really shared that relationship with my mom, you know. And every time I would kind of like express myself or tell her about the relationship, I'll make it seem as though it's perfect, and she believed that I was in a happy, okay relationship with this person, you know. And yeah, it wasn't the case. It was not the case, child. It was not the case. It was not the case. So I met this person on my freshman year. I was literally graduating high school and going into varsity. That was my first year. That's when we met, and he was obviously in Witbank. So we met while I was still in Witbank, preparing to go to Joburg to go and start my first year, you know. So that's where we started hitting things off, and he would literally, you know, show me that he cared and be like, oh, you're going to Joburg, okay, fine. And he call every day, he'll text me every day, he'll make sure that I'm okay, how are you, how was school, you know. It was a normal relationship basically. But in the beginning, I always thought to myself, you know what, I'm giving this relationship 3 months, because I mean, it's a long distance relationship, and I'm in Joburg. I'm obviously gonna meet, you know, someone here, and that relationship is just gonna die automatically. I thought that's what's gonna happen. Hela, to my surprise, it lasted a whole 3 years plus. And I was like, what? I did not stay in Joburg on weekends. On weekends, I was in Witbank, literally every weekend. You would swear, Gucci, it wasn't my first year. You would swear that I wasn't in varsity. You'd swear that I literally lived in Witbank, because that's where I was during the weekends. On weekdays, I'm at school. On weekdays, there's really nothing to get up to. You can't go to, I don't know, you can't go out with your friends, you know. Also, I'm students. So going out, you have to kind of like budget for those things. And in most cases, we would budget for month end and then weekend. And I'm not there. So I literally didn't have a life in varsity. People that went to varsity with me, they would say they don't know me, because I was that person. I was never available. I was that person. I was always at home. You see? Fine. Fine. So then every weekend he'll make sure that I'm at home. I'm with him in Witbank, and I'm not in Joburg. Nomfundo being nomfundo, I was okay with it. I thought, well, I mean, it's a normal relationship. This is how it's supposed to be. And by this, I mean, when I was out with my friends in Joburg, he would call. Where are you? Go back home. Why are you there? Who are you with? What are you guys doing? What are you guys? It was literally that. He would check on me every second of the day, finding out what I was doing. So I never really had the opportunity to do other things and explore and go out and do all those kinds of things, because this person was literally holding me down. At that time, I thought to myself, maybe it's because I've never really been with someone who, maybe it's because I've never really been like in a long-term relationship. Like that was my first, to think of it, that was my first long-term relationship, you guys. So I thought, nah, maybe this is how it's supposed to be. Because even when we talk, like when I say, okay, listen dude, like I don't want this relationship anymore, like he would upset me and I'll say, listen, I'm out, I don't want this anymore. He'd be, oh, so is this how you do it? Is this how you're gonna walk out on me every time we have an argument? So that means, so me and you will never get married because you want to run away every time we have an argument. And I'll be like, whoa, he must be right though, because I mean, all my relationships, you know, I literally end the relationship and that would be the end of it. So let me work it out. Let's work it out, and I'll stay. I'll stay. Hi, Kesana. Up until I got to a point where the relationship ended before things could end. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Before I could end the relationship had already ended, and that was because of the things that had happened within the relationship, you know. There was a lot that happened. When I say there was a lot that happened, I mean there was a lot that happened. Like when I close my eyes right now, I can just see all those things flashing back right in front of me. I guess I can say I never really had a life. I guess I can say my life was his life. My life was his life. You know, if he's going to watch soccer, I'm there. If he's going to wherever, KZN, whatever that he has to do, I'm there. If he's going to work, he has to do something that's work related, I'm there. My life revolved around him, and I wasn't allowed to have my own life. Trust me, I wasn't allowed to have my own life. Literally, If I wanted to go out, if I wanted to do something, he was there. If I had gone out, he would come and pick me up just to make sure that I was chilling with girls and there were no guys around. He was that dude. So why I stayed there, I think part of the reason why I stayed there, I thought this was the end for me. I thought this was, yeah, no, listen, this is the guy that you're gonna die with. It's okay, this is your forever, you know, just stay. I mean, no fundo, like definitely there was some kind of hint somewhere, some kind of sign somewhere that must have told you that this is not healthy, this is not what a normal relationship should look like. And I'm telling you that because whenever he would call, I would get so tensed and so edgy, and I would freak out, like, oh, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to be at home, I'm supposed to, and people would be like, is this normal? Are you sure? Are you okay? You know, these are like people in varsity, people around me. They would see me. I wouldn't even say friends because I didn't have friends at the time. You guys, I was literally cooped up in my apartment waiting for this guy to pop in anytime or call me anytime, or, you know, it wasn't an easy life. I was always on the edge, and you could tell because I lost a lot of weight. So yeah, that's where it was. If I'd go out tonight, the next day it's a war. It's war. This guy would fight me. He would fight me. It's war. So I didn't have a life, basically. And then the reason why, yeah, I'm going back to the reason why I stayed. I think the reason why I stayed, part of it has to do with, I guess I had daddy issues at the time because I didn't have a relationship with my father. And so, yeah, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't healthy because it created this person who was scared. I lost my confidence. I lost my self-esteem. I looked at myself differently. You know, I just lost it. I lost it. I didn't feel myself at all. I would think to myself, you are worthless, honey, because that's what he told me. You know, he would make me feel so ashamed. He'll make me feel so, and I believed him. I believed him. And come to think of it, he'll create all those illusions in my head that I'm not good enough. I'm just, you know, I'm this annoying person. He'll create all these monsters about me to say I'm that ridiculous person. I feel like if I'm this ridiculous, who can love me? Only him, you know. Yeah, so I am like worthless, I'm useless. But guess what? He's here for me. He loves me, and that's exactly where he wanted me, and that's exactly where I was. Things just got worse. Things just got worse. It got worse and it got worse. I caught him cheating on me. Literally, I saw the girl, you know, that he was with, and to think that I was so devoted to him. I was devoted. So the reason why I believe I stayed in the relationship was because I doubted myself. I had low self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. I thought whatever he was telling me was right. Whatever he was telling me about myself was right. He was right. By all means, he was, you know, he was right. You know, someone might say, yeah, because it was maybe financial gain, because obviously he was older than me, he was more mature than me, he was more accomplished, you know, and all of that. But I wouldn't really say it was financial gain, because what exactly did I gain? You know, what exactly? Nah, because if it was financial gain, I would have been driving a Porsche. I would have been driven a Porsche at that time. I would have been, having a penthouse in Da Vinci or something. So it definitely wasn't financial gain. It definitely had a lot to do with the fact that my daddy issues were not, you know, ironed out. Right? I didn't have a relationship with my dad at the time. When I finally saw that the relationship had ended and that I was worth so much more and I deserved so much better, I reached out to my dad, which was so weird because at the time I wasn't even going through therapy. I didn't talk to anyone about this, but when I reached out to my dad, I think it was maturity. I think I was mature, and I remember asking my mom, you know what, I need to talk to my dad. I really need to reach out to him, and then, you know, would you please allow me to rekindle with him and have that relationship again? And my mom was like 100%, you know, she was like 110%. And I think the other reason why I had kept this relationship with this guy to last for this long was because I didn't want to disappoint the people around me, right? I didn't want to disappoint them because to them he was perfect. That's how I created it. I made it seem like he was perfect. To my family he was perfect, you know. I made it seem like he was perfect, you know. But because I wasn't sharing the negative side. Okay, so then when I met up with my dad, okay, no, but that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. So then, so then I fixed things with my dad. You know, we started calling each other and you know. And then a few months after that, there was my mother's passing. And then from there, I was like crushed, you know. I remember just being so numb and being like, wow, Mfundo, what do you have left in you? Nothing. What are you really living for? I was doubting my purpose in life because I felt like she was the beginning, the end, the start of everything I had to me. So when she was gone, I was like, well, nothing left, honey. Just because also with this relationship, I get it now, I thought, Hori, this was my forever. So by the time I had ended it in my head, I was starting to accept, Uti, there's no relationship. This guy doesn't love you. He hates you. He doesn't love you. Because now I'm starting to now open my eyes and I'm starting to see what other people are experiencing in their relationships. And I'm also starting to have this bond with my dad, you know, and there's just so much love that I'm witnessing all around me, and I'm not even witnessing it in my relationship. That's when I started to end things in my head before I could even tell him. So by the time my mother passed on, he didn't come to the funeral, and then I was like, whoa, okay, so this confirms that this person hates you. He does not love you. He never loved you. Because then also there were other people in the funeral, other people that attended my mom's funeral. Sorry, people, my acquaintances, people that I worked with, people that know me, people that just casually know me were there. They were not even close friends. They were there. And that's when it hit me. And it was like, whoa, this person does not love you, honey. When are you going to see it? You know, what will it take for you to see it? I was like, there's no way this guy can do much more damage than he's already done. This is like the biggest hurt I've ever felt from him. He apologized on the day of the funeral. He kept sending messages about how's it going, are you okay? And I'm just like, oh. I couldn't even deal with it at that time because I was like, I didn't even care if he was there. To be quite honest, I didn't. But it was hurting me because he was the first person that I told. The only thing that I cared about at the time was my family. My family, you know, that was the only thing that mattered to me at that time and what I was feeling, really. I only dealt with him being absent after the effects. You see, when my friend told me, hey, this guy doesn't love you. If he couldn't attend your mother's funeral, leave it alone, baby. There is no more disrespect that this guy can dish out to you. So at that time, I was like, wow. It was a realization. And nothing he could have said that could make me feel otherwise. He couldn't have said anything that would make me feel otherwise, because I then realized, yeah, people are right, this guy does not love me. That's when I saw it, and that was the last straw. And I think what even made it worse was the fact that he was the first person I told. Like, literally, when I look at my cell phone, he was the first person that I told. I called him and I said, dude, I just came back from the hospital and this is what's happening. My mom has passed on. And so for him to not even honor that and come and, you know, it was just mind-blowing. And so yeah, that was the end of the relationship. That was me seeing Gutsi. That was the wake-up call, the biggest wake-up call. Besides the fact that the relationship had ended before everything else, it had ended like a year before this whole experience. But that was me saying, don't ever go back there. Because you know, sometimes you'll be like, this relationship is over. But whenever he calls you, jump and say, yes, I'm coming. So at that time, I knew, there's no way I'm going to give any part of me to this guy. There's no way I'm going to do it. I'm done. That was that. And yeah, I guess that's when I left the toxic, abusive relationship. And when I say toxic and abusive, emotional abuse, physical abuse, yep, all those things were there. And I just, yeah, I was a prisoner in that relationship. I remember even saying to him, yeah, I feel like I'm a prisoner. All right, so let me just wrap this up. Let me just, you know, say something in closing. Conclusion. Yeah, there is no conclusion. I just basically want to say that this conversation can go on in the comment section. Let's carry on this conversation. But I just want to say the signs are always there, but you just miss them somehow. You cover them up, you validate, you try to, you know, cover it up, and you just go in your head and you think, oh no, I have to be wrong. I have to be wrong. There's no way this person is toxic. There's no way this is not good for me. You know, you try to cover it up, but honey, it's always gonna surface. It's always gonna come to the surface, and you're gonna have to deal with it at some point in your life. You're gonna have to deal with it at some point, and I dealt with it, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was not an easy one, but here we are. Okay guys, so thank you so much for tuning in. Please do subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. And yeah, I hope you guys take something out of it. And yeah, man, that's it. It's goodbye.